If you're confused about the New York Red Bulls and their performance this year and exactly what they're doing to remedy things, well, you're not alone. This is Kristian Dyer here, and you are listening to the Red Bulls Insider podcast on MSG. And, well, to say the least, I'm a little bit confused by things this year. This is a team right now that, here as we are, 4th of July weekend, Independence Day, our nation's birthday, and you can't help but look back and think this was a team with so much continuity coming into this year, a back four that was essentially intact from years past, added a piece or two, certainly in the offseason, a midfield that was by and large intact, losing, yes, one big piece in the captain, Dax McCarty, and then the attacking pieces up top, when it's a Bradley Wright-Phillips and a Gonzalo Verón, and even a Brandon Allen as well, all coming back from the 2016 season. You would think that continuity perhaps would lead to some level of success, but right now it's been fits and starts for this Red Bulls team. So I want to take this 4th of July weeks and, as we're looking at fireworks and thinking about this great nation that we live in and how fortunate we are to live in the United States of America, kind of want to take that view from above the fireworks from 30,000 feet and really be able to look kind of at this Red Bull season as a whole. I mean, this is a season where they've had struggles defensively. They've had struggles in the midfield. They've had struggles in the final third. There isn't anywhere where they haven't had struggles. And it is a bit of a surprise. I think defensively, certainly the injuries, Gideon Bott not coming back into any type of health and going to be out for the entirety of this 2017 season, that hurts. That certainly hurts this team when you're looking at one of the guys that they had brought on board to kind of be a mainstay and a bedrock of this defense is now not anywhere near the starting 11, maybe participating with the USL team at some point, but you can't pencil him in at all this year. And then Damian Peronel has had his share of injuries that he brought into this year. Aurelian Collin as well. And when you're looking at a first-year MLS starter in Aaron Long, being asked to do so much, and he's certainly played at a high level and is certainly surprised, but certainly not the start to the season that I think the Red Bulls had expected from their back four, in particular that center back tandem. I'm being told, however, by my sources within the organization, help is on the way. They should be signing a center back sooner rather than later. One has been targeted, one has emerged, but a name right now in the focus of that, exactly where they're looking is unknown. But defensively, they've struggled. In the midfield, I think a lot of people will say that they've missed Dax McCarty this year. I'm not sure if they've missed Dax as much as fans and pundits want to say. Dax certainly brought a certain amount of bite to the midfield that perhaps is missing this year, but Felipe brings a similar bite. I think Tyler Adams, though young, brings a certain level of that tenacity and willingness to go in on the tackle and do good work defensively. Dax McCarty, to me, didn't really bring the movement in the final third, that touch, that passing that you wanted to see, that final ball like he had 2 years earlier when this team won the Supporters' Shield in 2015. I think this team misses Dax to a certain extent. Maybe it's just the familiarity of always having Dax McCarty there in the starting 11 at the bottom of the midfield. But keep in mind, last year, the midfield did just fine, and the team started their unbeaten streak and really kind of continued on with their hot form from the summer when Dax went down with that injury for a couple months and was out of the starting 11. Sean Davis stepped in and did well, and this year it's been Tyler Adams who's been the revelation in the midfield. So to say that the team was missing Dax McCarty, who coincidentally started and captained when they were 1-6 for that horrible start last year, the team had some bad spells with Dax starting last year, and they also had a fair amount of success without Dax. So I think that they mixed Dax McCarty to a certain extent, but perhaps not quite as much as we're perhaps led to believe, or some of the discussion from fans, from pundits, has put out there. I also think up top that it's been some fits and starts from Bradley Wright-Phillips. He's clearly more comfortable going up top as a solo striker. in this lineup. I think the two striker setup with Frederick Gulbranson was never, ever going to be a fit for him. I thought they occupied a lot of the same space, made very similar runs throughout, and kind of marked each other out of the game. Bradley Wright Phillips did not look comfortable in that regard, playing up top with another forward. So it's been an inconsistent year from the Red Bulls. Now, the question is, what do they do? We talked about them bringing in a center back. I think that it's got to be somebody who's going to be a starter. I'm being told that he is somebody who is going to come in and be able to challenge for a starting spot right away, be able to solidify things. I think once Michael Murillo is able to get fully going, we've seen flashes of how good he can be. He brings an element of 1v1 defending that this team has been missing on the right-hand side, but also speed as well. When he overlaps, he can stretch things. He hits a relatively decent cross and tremendous upside. So to be able to see his development in glimpses so far this year is going to be something that, if that can continue throughout August, September, October, and potentially November for the Red Bulls, would be a real good thing. But it's going to be those front four pieces, in particular, perhaps looking at a forward. I'm not saying necessarily a forward who can supplant Bradley Wright Phillips, but a forward nonetheless who can come in, add depth, add some quality. That would be a very good thing. In addition to that, being able to get, whether it's a central player or a wide player, someone who can come on in and just be able to add to the dynamic. I think we've seen how this year Sacha Kljestan perhaps having to drop back a little bit more than he had to last year for whatever reason, whether it is the team missing Dax or whatever it might be, has taken the real playmaker away from the Red Bulls, someone who in the final third can play off of Bradley Wright Phillips and vice versa. That has been a challenge for the Red Bulls, a main reason why they're struggling to score goals, and being able to bring somebody, if it's a wide player who can stretch things, make teams defensively be taken out of shape, that can be a real positive. If it's a central player, does that allow Sacha then to drop back into the center part of the midfield and actually be able to, be able to carry the ball more like a number 8 type of player as well? What does that do with the rest of the depth on the team, whether that's Felipe or Tyler Adams or Sean Davis? How does all that kind of play out? You've got a Dan Metzger as well, who I think could fit very well into in MLS systems at some point, whether it's for the Red Bulls or elsewhere. Those are all good questions for Jesse Marsch to be able to have so many talented pieces in the center of the midfield, and to be able to worry about being able to find them playing time, but how to use them best. And that brings us to a 3-6-1 that we saw recently against the Philadelphia Union, a formation that I think could potentially work well for the Red Bulls. It gets an awful lot of talent on the field, and it certainly would free up a player like a Tyler Adams to be able to go out there and just really be able to roam, be able to clog things up defensively, but more than anything, be able to push forward, make late runs, where I think he can be really devastating, getting into the 18-yard box as a late runner. He's got a good shot from distance. The kid is fearless offensively. I think being able to be freed up maybe with a 4-man central midfield as opposed to the 3 right now that's being utilized in the 4-2-3-1 might just do some wonders for even Tyler Adams' development. So, we're talking about Tyler Adams, and we're going to be talking to Tyler Adams in a few moments here on the Red Bulls Insider podcast. Got the opportunity to sit down with Adams and just be able to talk with this kid. I mean, 18 years old, he's doing an awful lot with his career. He's got a bright future. He's got some fascinating things to say about where he sees his development, who the player is that he looks up to and kind of wants to model his career and his game after. But in addition to that, does he see himself going to Europe potentially? What type of move does he see coming? When would that move be coming? I asked him the question about getting some advice from Matt Miazga on this whole front. It's going to be really interesting. Stop listening to me. In a few moments, you're going to be listening to Tyler Adams talking to me. Apologies for that. And now we have the teenage wonder, Tyler Adams, right here. Tyler, it's been kind of a little bit of a whirlwind year. Under 17s, then under 20 World Cup. time with the Red Bulls and everything else, are you able to enjoy this at all and actually be able to soak it up? Or
Yeah, overall it's been a wonderful experience to say the least. So many different journeys, whether it was the Under-20 World Cup, starting to establish myself within the team here, stuff like prom within school, graduation. Yeah, it's been a heck of a lot, but it's been so much fun.
are you, at the age of 18 right now, you're kind of between being a kid, right? You go home and you play FIFA or do whatever you want to do. You just had graduation, but yet you're in a man's locker room at a man's game and doing manly things. So what's the challenge for you on a personal level to find that middle ground so that, you're still able to have fun and enjoy being an 18-year-old?
Yeah, I think that's the joy of still living at home a little bit, whether it's, having my friends come over, going to hang out with them, and then, coming to work every day. I get to call this my job, and I enjoy coming here every single day with a smile on my face. But it's allowed me to mature quickly, being around older guys, whether they're talking about their families and I'm talking about going to high school every day. We get to joke around, they make inside jokes about me and stuff like that, but it's all fun and games. And then when we get out on the pitch, it's going to work and getting better every day.
Juan Agudelo told me when he was here that his coming of age, kind of growing up moment was when he opened up his first MLS check and saw taxes were taken out. Yeah, I see the eye roll right there. You're in favor of tax reform, but what was your moment when you kind of looked and said wow, it may have been something on the field, but where you said, wow, I'm in a man's world now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I still haven't really come to realize that I'm in the real world yet, because it's been so much fun and I'm enjoying every moment
and
of
ironically, you have your paychecks right there in your right hand.
I'm actually holding them right now.
Go off to the ATM.
Yeah, but no, I think that's funny that you say that. Taxes are quite harsh on me. I don't like losing money whenever I have to. I don't even make bets with the guys in the locker room because I hate seeing money go out the window. But yeah.
And mom doesn't allow.
Does not allow that. She's pretty harsh on me about that. But yeah, like I said, I'm still enjoying it. So it really hasn't come to realization that this is kind of my job, and I'm in the real world now.
When a lot of off-season moves and things kind of happen, did you kind of envision all this, that you would be a starter, a regular in the starting 11? And we were even thinking in January, February, you'd be with the under-17s for the World Cup. Then you get bumped up, to the under-20s and kind of everything else. Did you envision this 6 months ago when you were kind of planning out what 2017 was going to look like? Yeah,
I mean, I think that I always pictured, obviously Dax leaving is a big move for me and a huge opportunity opened up for me. But I always just envisioned that whenever I got my opportunity to play, that I would leave it all out on the field and prove to the coaches that, I deserve to be in the starting 11. So now every time that I step out on the pitch, it's just continuing to prove to them that I deserve to be out there. And then each game goes by, I continue to find things that I need to work on and develop, and I find things that I'm getting better and better at. So as the season goes on, we just reached our midpoint season throughout the year. And it's just looking to continue to get better and start to make that run towards the MLS Cup. But yeah, like 6 months ago, I set big goals for myself, and each time that I hit a goal, I just set another one for myself. So it's continuing to look forward and get better.
Your head coach, Jesse Marsh, said that he wants to see you get more involved offensively, be willing to take those risks, take those gambles. Is that what you see the next phase of your development being in the final third and maybe being a little bit more of that playmaker?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I think that when I was with the under-20s, I played a role that was higher up the field. Sure. I kind of played like we played 2 10s. And here we play 2 6s or 2 8s. But yeah, I kind of want to find myself being like an 8, a complete box-to-box midfielder, because I know that I do have qualities that I can add to the attack. But yeah, still getting better and making more plays, whether it's adding assists and goals to my game, is something that I want to do. And I think that's just getting a feel for the game. As I get more and more games, I'm figuring things out. So I think, you develop that more and more over time. But I know that I have more to add in the attack.
We talk about your finesse, your comfort on the ball, the touching, the passing, all the things we see on the weekend. But I think one of the things that people don't get to see about you is what I saw today. You were out there another 15, 20 minutes working with Chris Armas and Bradley Carnell, doing some fitness work, doing some touches. You have an incredible work rate that you bring. Is that something you kind of hang your hat on, saying, I'm going to outwork a lot of the other people out there on the field?
Yeah, I feel, well, now with the heat coming and your ability, to suffer in situations more than the opponent, I think that's something that I've always had, that, the determination to win games and go the extra step in order to win. Obviously, I'm a very competitive person, and I think that the more and more that I can add to my game, whether it's the little things like the passing and stuff like that, will just add the extra bonus with my work rate and continue to help win games.
Where do you see yourself someday when you're settled in? Do you see, probably not the 6, probably not the 8. Do you see yourself as maybe a number 10 at the MLS level, next level, national team level?
Yeah, my ultimate goal would be to be an 8. I think that's my most comfortable position. Whether 8 or 6, I find really comfortable. 10, I think there's way more guys that are a bit more creative and in that sense, add a little bit more of that finesse in the final third than I do right now. So I think that being an 8 would be a good fit for me, doing what I like to do defensively, breaking up plays, but then having the freedom to go into the attack and make plays there as well.
There was a moment a couple weeks ago in the NYCFC game, the regular season game. I think David Villa fouled you, and he just reached out his hand and grabbed you. And I think he just gave you a pat on the back.
Yeah.
When you have a legend of the game, one of the best players in MLS, a guy who could be playing, I see you smiling right now. What goes through your mind when he kind of acknowledges, like, yeah, you deserve to be on the field with me?
Yeah, I mean, David Villa, what a player and what he's done with NYCFC in the past couple of years. And it's funny you say that because I think there was one time where I took a touch and yeah, he did clip me, and then there was another play where I got megged by him. So it's like, you go back and forth.
Both sides of the game.
Exactly. You go back and forth with him and there's plays where where you're just like, wow, how did he get out of that? Or, he just does some things on the field that are unbelievable. But yeah, when he fouls you and you look up to him and he's giving you your hand and you're like, wow, I mean, this guy is world class and he won World Cup, won La Ligas, all different championships possible. Those are some goals that you want to set for yourself and hopefully one day achieve as well. So yeah, it's awesome to step on the field with players like that.
And we won't mention names, but there have been other moments where guys have fouled you and you have refused to shake their hand.
Yeah.
How much of that's saying, I deserve to be here and you can't push me around just because you might be twice my age?
Right. Well, that's for sure. But I mean, there's different plays where, there might be a little dirty tackle or something like that. And, myself on the field being the type of player that I am, maybe not showing quite the respect that you need to in certain moments, but showing that I'm up for the challenge as well for every match.
Now, when you came here a couple years ago, you were the first signing for the USL team. How important was that league, Red Bulls 2, to your development and kind of bridging the gap between the academy and where you were playing with the under-17s at the time, and then getting you ready for the MLS level?
Yeah, I think that my first year overall, I was gone for most of the season with
Right.
under-17s with the World Cup. And then the second year was probably the most important one. That was kind of the bridgeway and the platform that I needed to get games, to watch film with the coaches and see what I needed to work on. So now that when I entered this year, there was no hesitation in them playing me or knowing what I need to work on and continue to get better at. But it was just a breeze right into the start of the season. And then still missing games here and there with the under-20s. But now that that's over, hopefully just a successful run towards MLS Cup.
And how much did John Wolyniec help you with all that breaking down film? But I mean, here's a guy who played in MLS, played at every level of U.S. soccer,
Right.
capped by the national team. How much did he just kind of help show you the way to being a professional and, like you said, bridging that gap?
Yeah, no, John has helped me a ton. I remember back when I was, I want to say under 14 or under 16 academy, he even helped out, coached me there a little bit. So I knew John previously. It wasn't my first time, getting to know him within the USL. So he's a great player, coach to player connection. He helps you out in every way that possible, and he's not afraid to be hard on you, and that's what I like, because his criticism helped me mature in a way where I can accept criticism in the right manner and then put it into use further down the line.
I want to talk with you about the Under-20 World Cup. I mean, it's been every few years we're always saying, oh, this is going to be the golden generation of U.S. soccer. To you guys, when you look, Eric Palmer-Brown's going to be signing in Europe sometime this week. Josh Sargent has had rumors of the Bundesliga. You start talking about all these different guys that are kind of in your age group, and you didn't even have everyone available on that national team. Do you begin to think this might be the group that builds on 2002 and 2010 and 2014 and some of those successes, that maybe if we keep up this work, we can do something special?
Yeah, I think that our group was definitely a special group, and like you said, not having everybody, I know there was names left off the roster, but I mean, if you added guys like Kristian Pulisic, obviously a huge name now. I mean, guys like Weston McKennie and all those names. But just the guys that were there and were able to make that run was unbelievable. Guys throughout that cycle put so much work into it, whether it was fitness camps or tournaments, and we've won so many major tournaments. Being the first to win CONCACAF was a huge achievement. But like you said, there's so many names in that group that put out outstanding performances out throughout the World Cup, and now we'll be signing places, and you see more and more guys, getting minutes with professional teams at younger ages. It's good to see. And then, Josh Sargent, I mean, he's an under-17. He'll play in the under-17 World Cup. There's guys on that under-17 team that are getting professional minutes in the MLS already. So, I mean, it's hard to say, will this be the golden generation when there's already guys that are even younger that are already doing things as well. So it's good to see that, if you can't really pick a golden generation, and that there's so many guys within that are younger that could be the golden generation as well. So it's good to see.
So you're seeing the next generation has the potential to do the same things that this group is doing.
Exactly. And then the one after that, you never know. So you just have to keep, I think U.S. Soccer is doing a great job in developing players right now, and they're doing it in the right way, because you see more and more guys at younger ages signing professionally and getting opportunities.
When you look at the world game, is there a player you say, I want to develop into that type of a number 8 is what you said you see yourself? Do you see someone that you kind of want to model yourself after?
Yeah, I think Naby Keita at Red Bull Leipzig is my favorite player right now.
He's worth just a little bit of money from what I've heard. So.
80 million to Liverpool is an unbelievable number. That would be crazy to see. I mean, obviously I'd like him to stay with Red Bull and continue to watch them. But him, going to Liverpool, that'd be an unbelievable move. But the way that the things that he does defensively and breaking up plays, kind of like a Conte-esque player, and then the things that he offers in the attack are unreal.
Is Europe something you would like to see someday? I mean, everyone wants to challenge himself at the best level, but...
Right, but I think that, the way that MLS is developing right now, there's no reason I would want to leave. I think that everything that we have here is world-class, and I love it here, so I don't think so.
Do you talk with a Matt Miazga to see what their experience was like and maybe learn and make up your own mind? Yeah,
I think that hearing experiences from Matt is often really good. And then, just looking in the locker room and talking to guys like Sasha and Brad about their experiences in Europe as well is kind of like golden for me. Like, I can just have conversations with them about, Champions League and all the experiences at Man City from Brad, or Southampton, or all the clubs that he's played at. It's really good to have those connections.
But it sounds like you'd be happy to be a Red Bull for life.
I love Red Bull. I love this club. Yeah.
And it's exciting for you, being a local kid from New York, to be able to play for the local team and maybe represent the region every time you go out there on the field in a different way than some of the other guys.
Yeah, I think that growing up watching this team is something that not everybody on the team's obviously had the opportunity to do, and then seeing how the team has transformed throughout the years, whether it was when Thierry was here with Tim Cahill, and we went from a DP-based team to, forming this younger generation and completely different style of play. So over the years, not everybody's got to see the growth within the organization, but I've had the opportunity to do so, and it's amazing how far the club has come now.
All right, so the way you're talking, it sounds like you want Dennis Hamlet's job in 15, 20 years' time.
Maybe.
I'm not saying that, but is that something you think about? I know you're not even at the nascent stages of your career, but do you think about 20 years down the road, maybe I want to get into coaching, or, technical director, sporting director?
I would never.
Media relations. Gordon Stevenson is here watching this podcast and just gave deer in the headlights look.
I would never rule coaching out. I think that coaching is, a completely different perspective of looking at things. But having like intel like Jesse and Dennis do, and having, the experiences of watching them coach and stuff like that, and in the manner of which they do so, I think that it would be really fun to be, whether it's a sporting director or coach of a club like this, especially.
Many years down the road, though.
Yeah, many years, like
so
20,
the 10,000-pound gorilla in the room, how was prom?
Oh my God.
Because a year ago we were talking about you with your red braces and everything else. Now the braces are off. Yeah. So, and, we saw photos of the prom date on social media.
Yeah.
Mucho trabajo. Yeah.
Prom was very, very fun. It was good to, whether it was with my friends or and family taking pictures, it was a really good experience to, have that sort of social life for the day. Whether I have a great social life, to say the least. I get to hang out with friends all the time. I'm back home at a great time. Everyone's getting off of work and doing things, and especially with summer now, it's great before everyone goes off to college. But yeah, the prom was a great experience, hanging out with friends for the night and having a good time. It was good.
Now, how did you ask her out to prom? Because, I know these things are getting more complicated anymore and everything else. Was there anything special in the bag of tricks?
Okay.
Did Sasha show up with balloons?
No. So having the World Cup and losing to Venezuela, that was my ticket to go to prom. So if we made it past that round, yeah, exactly. If we made it past that round, I wouldn't have been able to go. So it was just really quickly organized, and I flew home the next day, and prom was that day. So it was pretty quick.
So she was kind of waiting to see, I guess.
Well, no. So she graduated in the class before us. So she graduated last year. So she's in college now, so it was easy. So if I couldn't go, then it wouldn't have mattered. So
you had a good time.
Yeah.
You tore it up on the dance floor. Who among your teammates do you think is probably the worst dancer in the bunch?
Worst
dancer? And I premise this. I just talked with Rashad Jennings, who was one Dancing with the Stars, former Giants.
Yeah.
He wants to see Eli Manning on Dancing with the
God.
Stars, which would be tremendous, but maybe for all the wrong reasons. So who would you want to see next to you on the dance floor?
Who would I want to see dance? Who would I want to see dance with me, or like who's a bad dancer?
Either. Let's go with it.
A good dancer, I know Derek can dance. Like Derek can dance.
The Haitian Messi. Okay.
Right, exactly. And then
I feel like Alex Muil might be a pretty bad dancer.
I don't know. Alex might have some moves. I would like to see Luis on the dance floor.
We just don't want you to get in trouble with any of these comments.
No, it's okay. I'll confront them whenever.
You will not back down. So now, we're wrapping up here. Life has changed for you a little bit. You're now a high school graduate, and you don't have to go to gym class before practice anymore.
God.
That's something people didn't know. You actually had to go to your gym class at high school before going to training.
I did.
Life is different. You got your mornings now.
Yeah.
You're sleeping until 7?
It's till 8, thank God. But yeah, well, actually, I start college classes today, today's Monday. So my first assignment is due like Thursday or something like that. So I'll start online classes through Southern New Hampshire.
We're breaking news now here on the Red Bulls Insider podcast. You're taking college classes.
Yes, I am. So I'll try to major in psychology and tie that in with sports psychology later down the line. But yeah, just getting going and getting as many class credits as I can.
Local school or online?
Yeah, through Southern New Hampshire. So which affiliate.
An MLS partner.
Yeah, exactly.
So you hope to go into sports psychology.
Yeah.
John O'Brien, who used to play for the U.S. national team, is now a sports psychologist.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He had a little bit of success in his career with Ajax.
He did. He was an unbelievable player.
Played a similar position to you as well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Maybe we set up a summer internship.
Hopefully.
So how many classes will you be taking?
So I'm taking 3 right now over the summer, and then each term I'll just continue to take 3 classes.
No more gym classes?
Nope, no more. Not necessary.
Well, Tyler, good luck with the classes, and thanks for joining us, giving us a few minutes, and sharing all about prom.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah.
If you don't like the makeup and moxie of Tyler Adams, I don't know what to tell you. The kid is poised, he's classy, he can make fun of himself, make fun of me once or twice. He's what you want to see from an 18-year-old young man doing a grown man's job, but doing it with a level head and realizing that, frankly, he has more room to grow and develop and that he needs to learn, but at the same time, he's not going to back down from anyone. I'll tell you what, Tyler Adams' parents have an awful lot to be proud of. They've done a great job with this young man on the soccer field, but certainly off of it as well. He's developing into something I think really special in front of our eyes here in MLS. But what about that takeaway right there, that this young man would be open to staying in MLS and with the New York Red Bulls for life? I mean, what a testament to this league where 2 years ago, and each player is going to have his own different course and chart his own course, but 2 years ago, Matt Miazga was looking for that right opportunity to get on out. Everyone knew he wanted to get on out and leave the Red Bulls. He was offered a designated player deal, and here he, is going over to Chelsea, having to go out on loan. And then you've got a very opposite story in Tyler Adams, who's saying, I think this league's growing and I want to grow along with it. And you hear him talking about the under 17 national team, and then the next batch that's coming up in the under 15 national team, and just saying that, these kids are going to be as good, if not better, than this current group that went to the quarterfinals of the recent under 20 World Cup. And I think perhaps if you're Tyler Adams or you're some of these young players, you're starting to look and say, with the talent that's coming up around me, but also in the next wave, MLS is going to take a serious step forward in the next 5, 6, 7 years and really become a league that, there's an awful lot of work to do to get to be the English Premier League or the Bundesliga or Serie A or La Liga. But this is a league that where the young players and the young talent, and just the fact that it's in the United States and so many players want to come and live in this country with the wonderful facilities, the training facilities, with the soccer-specific stadiums that are now becoming the norm, that, Tyler Adams is kind of saying, well, why not stay here? Why not play here? I'm open to that possibility. And I'm sure that there's going to be offers that are coming in, and Tyler's certainly going to be looking at some point at a potential future in Europe. But to hear a player say, I'm open to staying in MLS and being with this Red Bulls club for the rest of my career, I know if you took one thing away from this podcast, and I think there was a lot more there, but one thing away, that's got to make you excited about the future of soccer in this country.